Hello everybody, it's Foxy. Today we're going to be doing something a little overdue, a celebration of hitting 100 followers on both Instagram and YouTube. I'm honestly so excited, and to make it even better, I'm going to be hosting my very first giveaway. A huge thank you to InZoi for being super generous. They provided a Steam key and 2 InZoi shirts for the prizes. The giveaway will be running until the 17th, and I'll have all the details linked down in the description so you can check that out as well. So here's how it will work. One winner will receive a Steam InZoi key plus a Cahaya shirt, and the second winner will also get a Cahaya themed shirt. I was originally going to do one key and 2 smaller shirts separately, but since I'm still a smaller creator, I thought this would make it more exciting. Hopefully a few of you enter. I think it'd be kind of sad if no one joins, but I think it'll be fun either way. Alright, now back to the build. Today I'm working on a Mediterranean style house, which took me forever. It was quite tedious at times, but I have this weird love for that style of houses, so I just had to do it. I ended up using poles around the house and even built a little bridge to reach it. I think it turned out really nice. Most of the fences you see here are CC from a canvas creator called Yukio. I'm hoping I said that right. I'll link their stuff below because they do really super detailed builds. They had a French style house, but I really love the colors so much that I thought they would fit a Mediterranean Tuscan vibe. So I just ran with that. Since most of my builds are based off of real life houses, I'll put some of the reference photos up on the screen here so you can see the kind of vibe I was going for. They're honestly so beautiful. Obviously, InZoi doesn't have round walls yet, so I had to work around that with some CC I found on canvas, but I do think it still captures the look and feeling pretty well. I wasn't aiming for a perfect copy, more just trying to bring across the same atmosphere those houses have. And if you guys are curious, I do like all the stuff I use on my canvas profile. So if you want to check that out, you can, but I think it still captures the look and feeling pretty well. Oh, and in case the intro wasn't super clear, I've actually been a part of the InZoi partner program for a few months now. It's been such a blast. I do love joining all the little events they host for us and the community. It's so inspiring to see how creative everyone is in the community with their builds. But when I first got the email saying I've been accepted, I was honestly shocked. I mean, I started out just building houses for fun, never really expecting anything to come from it. I'm still a smaller creator, so it really caught me off guard that they even accepted me. I remember calling my boyfriend and telling my sister right away because I was so excited. Extra special for me because me and my sister used to play Sims together during the summertime, and that's really what sparked my love for building. For me, it's still the best part of these games, having the creative outlet where I can take the ideas from my head and bring them into the game and share them with people to enjoy. But what about you guys? Do you like the gameplay side more, or are you builders like me? To match the photos, I wanted to create a rounded area here to have a really nice lookout point for the bathtub, because I do know I want that there, and I want to put curtains around it. That way there is still some privacy. But yeah, for the front of the house, I really wanted to create this fenced off garden area in the front along with the bridge, because I think the dark water against the bright white house makes it feel very striking and kind of formal. For the entrance, I wanted to add rounded archways because they're really nice. I wish InZoi had more of those because they are gorgeous. I tried the same for the doorway, but my toy couldn't actually fit through it, so I had to improvise. I will always try to make my builds playable, and this one works really well with a mouse. If you're a WASD player, the toy sometimes gets stuck in the doorway, but there are multiple entrances, so you can always work around it. There are a lot of fences in this build, but I think they really help with both safety and looks. I wanted to section off a little porch area right by the water where your Zoids can sit down, have a meal, or just hang out. I feel like it adds such a nice touch because eating outside right next to the pool or water, I think this is always makes the space feel more relaxing and kind of resort-like. To give the foundation a bit more personality, I'm also adding some bushes and greenery around the edges. That way it doesn't just feel too plain or structured. The plants help break it up and give it a slightly overgrown, natural vibe. It also covers up the areas where there aren't any CC because I couldn't put any. However, it softens the build a lot, makes it feel more lived in and kind of overgrown. It softens the build a lot and makes it feel more lived in, like the house has been here for a while and nature has kind of grown into the design, which I kind of like. As for the layout of the build, I actually ended up changing it multiple times throughout the process. This house is a really big one, and honestly, getting everything to flow the way I wanted it to look took me quite a few tries. But throughout the video, sometimes when I'm stuck, I'll place furniture around temporarily just to help me figure out where things might go or how a room should feel. But I didn't go through with furnishing in this video. I decided to save that for a separate one because I really wanted to get this video out for you guys before I spend a few hours decorating. I think this build is sitting around 3 bedrooms and a few bathrooms, so it definitely works as a family home. But in my head, I was designing it more as a place where people could host parties or big get-togethers. That's really the vibe I wanted for it. So, for example, I planned out a back porch area where you could hang out by a campfire or even set up a long dining table. I added plenty of porches and open seating around the house and the garden because my goal was to make it feel like a vacation home. Specifically, this is like somewhere that's really fun to spend time in, especially with friends or family. It's the kind of place where I just picture always throwing parties, barbecues, or just having cozy nights by the fire. So yeah, while it is definitely a larger house and took a lot of tweaking to get the show and layout right, I'm really happy with how much gathering party potential it ended up having. The overall style of this build ended up being really bright and white. That brightness means when I go in later to furnish it, a lot of the colors and textures from the furniture will really stand out and pop against the walls. I think that the contrast is going to make the interior feel super vibrant and lively. I also added mini gateways around the front and side of the house. I always feel like big houses like this should feel a little more exclusive, like you're entering into a private retreat, as it adds small detail, but it definitely adds to the atmosphere. So this is the dining area I mentioned earlier, and it actually took me quite a bit of time to get right. I kept moving things around because I wanted it to feel balanced with the rest of the build and to add more archways like I did in the front. Since it did take a while, I will speed this part up for you guys so you don't have to sit through all of the little adjustments. For the roof, my idea was to have it wrap around the house to create more dimension, and even though it's not perfect yet, I already know I'm going to add in some plants and leaves and shrubs later on, which will give it a slightly mossy, overgrown look, just like the foundation. I don't want the house to feel too flat or too new, if that makes sense. I want it to look like it has been a little bit of a history to it, like it's been sitting here in the sun for years and nature started to become part of it. For the color choice, I really like pairing orangey brown roofing with white walls for builds like this on Mediterranean or Spanish style house like this. The warm tones against the bright walls really feel authentic to the style that I'm going for. For the front door, I decided to go with the rounded walls and then place fences in between just to give it a little bit more detail and depth, like the photos I have used as reference. For the front door, I decided to go with rounded walls and then place fences in between those just to give it a little more depth and dimension and to match the reference photos that I showed in the beginning. It's a small detail, but I think it really makes the entrance pop. The rest of the roof I actually ended up doing off camera because my recording glitched and it didn't capture the game, which is super frustrating. I lost about an hour of footage, and in that time I've added the roof, decorated the garden a little bit, so at least you get to see the finished results for those here. And I guess the silver lining is that it makes the video shorter. But yeah, still super annoying when stuff like that happens. It's the roof and the landscaping mainly, and a little bit of the floor plan on the second story. For the kitchen, as it is a focal point of this house, I wanted to see what types of windows would fit underneath the cabinets, so I had to put the counters down and the cabinets. That said, I really love how the build looks at night. The pool is so deep that once it gets dark, it almost gives off this foggy effect over the water, and it creates a moody but beautiful vibe to it. I also added some lanterns around the outside to light things up, and I actually sized them down to fit the fences. I actually sized them down into the fences, which looks really nice. By the way, if you didn't know, that little trick is you use a CC swatch and then undo it. Then the size slider still sticks around so you can resize objects however you would like. I'm not sure how well that translates into canvas, but in game it works perfectly and everything runs surprisingly smooth. The only downside is that if you remove those walls, sometimes those resized objects will delete too. I know that if you use Alt, it also does that as well, which is why I left that part for the very end. Definitely something to keep in mind if you're building yourself. For the rest of the video, I'm just finishing up the landscape and porches. But that's gonna wrap it up for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you again for all the support, it really means a lot. Don't forget to check the description out for the giveaway details. And I'll see you in part 2 for decorating this house. So, bye for now.